I don't know, is anyone else coming, do you know?
No, that is it. Oh, Keely's supposed to be coming.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, that music tells us that we are ready to go. We have enough members up here that we can go ahead and get started. So good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and call the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting of March 15th, 2023 to order. So if we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, there's Keely. We'll just hang on for just a second here. Keely's coming in. We got one more member coming up.
You want to lead us, Kevin?
I sure will. Yeah, we'll wait till Keely gets herself settled in here. Welcome. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you very much. Do we have anybody up here? I'm sorry, sir? What? No, not today. I think we can skip that today. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're going to check to see if anybody's got a conflict up here on the panel for any of the items coming up. Okay, we're going to get, Don's already stepped ahead here. So item number 4, we're going to approve, do we have, we got the minutes from December 21st, 2022. So it's been a little while since we've had a meeting. So if everybody's had an opportunity to review the minutes from December, I'd like to get a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Second, so we have a motion to approve the minutes of December and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. All right, minutes passed from December. Moving to the first item here, item number 5, we have the variance application by Lauren Michelle Blue to construct either Phase 1 or Phase 2 located at 1 North Point Drive. Phase 1, owner currently has a 388 square foot attached garage and would like to construct a second 670 square foot detached garage. Total garage square foot is 1,058. Phase 2, owner will remodel existing attached garage and reduce the size by 58 square feet, which reduces the total garage space to 1,000 square feet. And property owner would like to construct a new second driveway access on North Point Drive. That is certainly a load right there. So, okay, so who is here for that? Yes, sir. Okay. Go ahead and share with us what we are looking at today.
Great, thank you. I'm Joe Clark.
Tennis court in the back of it?
They used to have a tennis court back in that park area, yes.
So your access is on that alley back there right now?
Currently, there is the driveway access through the back, yes.
Okay, before we get started, is there anybody here for this particular item that we would, okay, all right, so we will, once we hear from this gentleman, we'll go ahead and we'll figure things out, and then we'll let you come up and speak as well, too. I just want to make sure. Okay, yes, sir.
Thank you. So I'm Joe Clark with Legacy Architecture. Pleased to be with you this afternoon. Dr. Blue apologized she couldn't be here in person, but her schedule, she's tied to the hospital, hard to get away for things like this, but she did want to extend her apologies. We've been privileged to work with Dr. Blue on this project for a while. It's a fantastic site, but it's an unusual lot configuration, which lends a lot of challenges. The layout of the property is a wedge shape, and it tapers in the back to about half of what the required width for this zoning for a property is, which makes it very difficult to put a typical 3-car garage in the back, the 1,000 square foot allowance that the ordinance gives us. So we have a number of variances that we are requesting as we've worked with Dr. Blue on some solutions on what she'd like to do for this project. Essentially, she would like to get up to that 1,000 square foot allowed for the garage space, but there are a couple of concerns. One is with the width being so narrow in the back, she can't get the full 3-car garage in the back. Unless she pulls it way into the site and loses a lot of buildable area because of that wedge. The other thing is that Dr. Blue needs access to the roads all the time. She's on call and has to be able to get to the hospital very quickly. So she does need to maintain garage and driveway access out to the front. But she doesn't want to put a 3-car garage out to the front and create a big blank facade on that very nice section of North Point Drive. So the solution that we've been looking at that she would like to see happen is as she gets to the phase 2 and does the house remodeling, she would like to have a 1-car garage as part of the house and have that accessed to the front off North Point Drive. And then as the phase 1, to put in a 2-car garage to the back where it fits better and can be pushed further into that wedge towards the alley side. So that currently would exceed the 1,000 square foot maximum. There's a 1.5-car garage currently as part of the house with a big blank wall facing out to the front. So until that's demolished and remodeled into the smaller single-car garage, she would be over the 1,000 square foot cap. But her intent is to then the following year be able to do the housework to bring it back to the 1,000 square feet. The other ordinance requirement is for only a single garage. So by splitting this to a 1-car and a separate 2-car, we would require a variance to be able to take that approach as well. And then the last item has to do with the driveways at the front. I believe that's a Plan Commission item, but staff recommended that we bring it to Board of Appeals for your discussion, is to introduce a second curb cut out to North Point Drive. Just the layout of the site and being able to access things conveniently. Dr. Blue would like to be able to do that. And again, it really doesn't impact the push for the variance, but we did include documentation that there are a lot of other properties around North Point Drive that have either separate garages or that looped driveway with the 2 points of access. So in terms of the conditions of the variance needing to not be a nuisance, our assumption is it isn't a nuisance because other folks have that already. So hopefully that as a characteristic of this neighborhood is taken into account and would be able to get that additional driveway to the front. And I apologize that it's a complicated one. There are lots of bits and pieces trying to fit together to make this work. So would certainly answer any questions if anything is unclear.
Sure. Nope. Okay. Nope. Thank you. We'll take this one step at a time here, actually. So, Steve.
What's the hardship?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What's the hardship?
The hardship is that the property doesn't meet the city's own width requirements. It's about half the width that's required for that zoning at the back. So being able to fit the allowed garage square footage to the back of the site is really a challenge.
Yeah, and I think staff would agree with that premise. And when you take a look at that pie shape, it really limits the amount of square footage that you can put back here in terms of the overall garage itself.
So the finished product would be a 1-car attached to the house and then a 2-car in the back?
Correct. And there's presently a 1-car,
1.5-car garage
a
to the front.
1.5 in the front
Attached.
that's there now.
Okay.
And so what they wanted to do is to maintain that and finish that off, yet it's not really big enough to allow for them to do what they want to do, and they don't really want to put all garage in the front. So that was part of the reason for wanting to put the other garage in the back.
Can you show me a finished product? There are pictures
Sure.
of finished.
Yeah. So, and
The-
Mr. Clark can speak to the design.
Dr. Blue was concerned that the garage be complementary to the architecture of the house. So it's the siding is a vertical panel siding, similar to what's on the house, stained.
What's the
It'll be a
finished house?
composite product. And then we have brick, again, matching what's on the house as a couple of piers flanking the entryway and built into a planter along the side.
And then what's do they have something of the house? Yeah, okay.
The house is just conceptual at this point. The hope is that if we get approval for the garage, Dr. Blue will then proceed with the finalization of the design for the house, and have construction documents ready for the following year. But we wanted to show the character of what we were trying to do to the house so that you
Yeah.
understand the aesthetics
appreciate that.
that we're going for, and trying to have the garage tie into that as well.
Okay.
How do you feel on that, Steve?
And I know there's some neighbors here as well on this.
You should hear.
I think in terms of what they're proposing, from a design perspective, there are some concerns with that section as to how you get behind here. Jeff and I drove back there yesterday, and it was full of snow. I mean, we had the pickup truck, so we were able to get back there. So I could see some of the concern. I'm not sure how that all gets plowed and things like that, typically. So to have potentially that one in front might make sense, to have that ability. And then,
Who's responsible for that parcel?
And I may have to
Well, who
ask the
owns it?
applicant and maybe the other owners know, but I believe all of these individuals that live around here have a certain percentage of ownership into this middle piece. And I don't know currently how the owners maintain that driveway.
But it's not the city's responsibility.
No, it is not.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
There were some neighbors.
Yep, right, we have some folks in the neighboring area. Folks, if you would like to step up and, yep, I think it's, yeah, right here, sir, yeah.
Thank you for the invitation. My name is Stuart Bratz. I live at 22 North Point Drive, just around the bend there a little ways, the other way. Yeah, it's right there, I think. Yes, that's it, right there. And the reason that my wife Cindy and I are here today is when looking at the plans, we have mainly a concern from our backyard looking at what's proposed for the new property that's directly across from us. If you go to the slide that shows, it might be that one. Yes. You can see that in the back, the little darker brownish, grayish highlight is, what does that say? Is it, it's for a parking for a
Camper
mobile
footprint?
home camper?
Right.
The camper's been out in the front the last few years since she purchased the property. I believe her parents come and visit at least once a year, and she's looking for a place to put that camper. It really is a Greyhound bus size vehicle, and I don't know how long something that large is allowed to stay in one place and begin to be called maybe an accessory, that it's semi-permanent almost, it would seem. The bus is there quite long. I'm not sure if it's there
Yeah.
a month or what, but it's quite large. It literally is a Greyhound bus. And I don't have the ability to appoint her, but looking at what I'm wondering is the new garage, which is fine, I guess, other than that she's got to remove a very large, beautiful old tree, which I believe is not an ash. It's something that's been there since I grew up on the Point as well, since I was a kid. But anyway, if you're looking down at the lower left-hand corner of the new garage, the two-car, yeah, that corner, almost, yes. That corner, yes. Is there a variance required for that edge of that garage to be beyond the normal recessed, lot lines that are that are
What is the
under?
setback there?
I can answer that question. No, this garage, the only reason why there is a variance today is because you're only allowed one garage. If they didn't have the existing garage up front, they could have obtained a building permit to build it where it's at.
Where
So
it's
that's meeting the setbacks in that
Okay,
area.
So where that garage is positioned right now, and that corner I'm looking at is not, that's proper, what would you call it, setback? for
Correct.
That corner for that?
Right, yep.
Okay, so, well, then I guess,
So, yeah, so the only reason, if they didn't have that garage up front and they were just building that, they could build this with just a building permit.
right. Well, again, I didn't know if that had been shifted, well, in this case, this way, because she's looking for a place to park, for her parents to park that Greyhound bus. And quite frankly, for those of you who drove back there, you can see how narrow that space is. I don't know, but it's congested anyway, I suppose, so maybe it's not any different than what's already there, but can a large Greyhound bus be parked there indefinitely, perhaps, if all of a sudden the parents decided to live there?
In the back of the property,
Yeah.
yes.
Really?
Yeah, and that's
In the
the,
front of the property, no.
right, not indefinitely, but that's the reason why they're looking at doing
But
that.
the back of the property, yes.
Right.
Which, right now, they're parking it in the front.
In the front,
It's a
yeah.
So,
minimum
okay.
of 28
I think the other thing
days.
there too, and I definitely understand where you're coming from, but there are garages on both sides of this as well.
Yes.
In this area too, so even though it's hard to kind of see, that area does have, a garage here and a garage here already. So it, in a way, is shielded, not to say completely, I'm not gonna,
I don't mind the
you
I
know
don't
the
mind
area
the
much
garage.
better than I do, so I'm not trying to claim that
Yeah.
by any means. But there is some stuff in that area, just so everyone is aware that there are garages, in between what we're taking a look at
Yeah.
today, is all I'm trying to say.
But if it's a two-car garage that has a normal height to its roof
Yep.
line, I don't have a problem with that. It's, my first fear was that they were gonna build a very tall garage to put the
Sure,
Greyhound bus into, but it doesn't sound that way, it doesn't look that way.
no,
But the real concern is that bus, and I was just wondering if they were seeking the variance so they could get the bus to park back there, but if not,
sure.
if it's all legit, then I
Right.
don't have much of a case, other than, I think the bus is gonna be, if it's there for any length of time, it really becomes an eyesore. Even for those of us who like to enjoy our backyards during the summertime.
sure.
So, and it is almost literally it's like becomes a home, another home, so, but you're saying there's no code or anything that would,
That's correct, those types of vehicles are allowed in the back like
Yeah.
that.
okay. All right.
Not the front,
No.
Yep.
but the back,
Yes.
yes.
All right. Well, all I would suggest then is maybe if her parents are gonna be here for an extended period of time out on Highway 42 or whatever, Playbird Road, there's places where you can put a big bus. If you're gonna be there a month, just put the bus somewhere else would be considerate, I think, on their part, rather than parked in the back. But that's all I have to say then. Thank you. Did a lot of people get, talked to a couple of people, they didn't get any notice of this meeting around the point, who own?
Yeah, typically, all the people within 100 feet of that property receive notice. Let's see here. I know that I have all of the people that received the notice.
They get a letter mailed to them?
Yeah, all the people within 100 feet of that property. So I would imagine at least probably from about here to probably in this area, the next two or three homes. So
Sure,
not-
it was not the whole,
It would, no,
the
it
whole
would not.
It wouldn't be the whole,
okay. that was-
Right.
All right, well, thank you very much.
And, from that perspective, and maybe with the applicant, maybe there's an opportunity for you guys to talk to one another as neighbors and just possibly mention those concerns when you have an opportunity to that. If you could share that with Joe, and maybe
Well, if the
an
architect could do
introduction
that,
could
that'd be
be
enough for me.
made offhand, and that discussion could be had just to share those concerns.
Okay, thanks again.
All right.
Thank you, sir. All right, do we have any other discussion, questions, comments? City seems to be okay with
Yes.
the plan, okay. And then it ultimately sounds like it's gonna match the garage and the house and everything, okay, at some point, so, okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve, as presented. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a couple seconds. All right, so we have a motion to approve in some seconds. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. All right, motion passes as presented. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, item number 6. Variance application by Dennis and Jill Prigge to enlarge an existing sidewalk on the east side of the property. Sidewalk crosses over the property line to the adjacent property, 502 Pennsylvania Avenue. There is an easement for the sidewalk, and there is a second variance request for 502 Pennsylvania Avenue to increase the sidewalk width located on the west side of the property. Also would like to raise the walls and roof height at the north end of the dwelling to create a larger second floor storage room located at 504 Pennsylvania Avenue. Again, there's another one that's got a mouthful. All right. Yes, sir. Okay, do we have anybody here for this particular item in the group? Just, okay, all right. All right, sir?
All right, we're requesting the variance, because of the condition of the sidewalk is all broke up and destroyed. It needs to be redone, as you see the pictures of it. And
All this property.
the also problem is the width of the sidewalk is only 2 feet wide, which is a problem in getting lawn equipment, snow removal, wheelchairs, all that on a little 2-foot sidewalk there. It's a small little sidewalk. Now, an easement was granted by this man here, Dennis. But with the easement, we're only allowed to change the sidewalk in the existing position. And there is a 1-foot area. The Prigges are requesting to pour the sidewalk bigger on their property to go up to the lot line. The problem lies, there's a 1-foot area for a stretch of about 20-some feet. And I showed it on the plat survey. That is on Dennis's property that would be paved. Otherwise, we would have to, I don't know, put grass or gravel. It would be a high maintenance issue. I don't know what we would be able to put in there if we're granted the easement on Jill's side to, go up to the lot line on the sidewalk. So, and it's really hard to see with the plat survey, but there is about a foot area for about 20-some feet that is on his property that we would need to pour the concrete also to make the sidewalk wider instead of leaving a patch in the middle.
Do you have any pictures?
Yeah, I did.
That you submitted
I
specifically on the sidewalk area?
Yeah, I had there's a bunch of pictures that I submitted, I don't know, 20-some pictures.
Of the sidewalk?
Part of some of it was the sidewalks, that was the rear of the building, but,
If you widen the sidewalk, will you be encroaching on the other property?
pardon me?
If you widen the sidewalk, will you be encroaching on the neighbor's property?
Well,
That's gonna happen, but I was here 3 years ago, and they were gonna do it then, and then I don't know, I guess it's.
If you wouldn't mind coming up to the mic, sir, just
Sure.
because it's. and
Yeah,
then
I'm
you
a
can
neighbor,
respond to that, too.
east of the existing property that they're talking about, and it's encroaching on my property, but I already gave permission, and I'm giving them permission for an easement
to make it as wide as they can, because it is dilapidated, it's been falling apart. You know, this is the first year that they're actually, you know, fixing the property, as long as I've lived there 30 years, so. Yeah, it needs to be widened, as you say, widened, and, all new stuff, so.
So what's happening, Don, is that the variance we're talking about right now is for this home, for the sidewalk, and they have something else. But the gentleman who's also up there owns the property next door. He is on the agenda next so that they can do the variance to do the sidewalk on both. So there's an easement that they've provided to one another. And after this matter, he's going to be on here requesting 0 to the lot line 2 so that the walk can be done as they're requesting,
Okay,
if that makes sense.
well, you're widening the sidewalk, and that's what,
On both lots, and both owners are here requesting it, a variance to do that.
okay.
And then, so that, I don't know if anyone else has any questions on the sidewalk, but if not, maybe you would like to speak to the other element of what you're requesting?
Oh, okay. The other element is, we would like, there's a storage area. We're not changing the blueprint of the building or adding on square footage, but there's a storage area with a low-pitch roof. It has about a 1-foot knee wall and then a low-pitch roof. And you can't walk but a foot each way without hitting your head up there for storage. And we're asking for a hardship because the building doesn't have a full basement for any kind of storage, and it is a 3-unit building. So it's basically our only place to put storage. And what we would do is extend the roof line from the second floor straight back, so they would get more headroom up there in the unfinished storage area up there.
So if I could, just a minute.
Sure.
So if you see the picture here, this is the section of the, so the building is here, and they're looking at basically going up and extending that roof with this section right here to match the height of the existing home.
Correct, correct.
So this
And-
would then be extended with this roof height in this area, and that's what's being shown here. So the reason for the need for the variance request here is because this is considered a legal non-conforming structure because of where it's at.
Yeah.
But they're not looking at increasing the overall footprint of the home. They're looking at adding square footage, but going up at the same, on the same footprint to match that of the home. Correct? Is that?
Correct. It is exactly correct. And I understand from talking to Jeff that it doesn't meet the setbacks on the side. And because we're redoing the whole thing, that's why we need the variance. That back in the day when it was built, I don't think hardly any of the house would match the setbacks of today's era right now, but.
Does the neighbor have an issue with that happening?
You and Jim have been here before, haven't you?
What's that?
I'm just talking, you're Jim's son-in-law, you were here getting some other things.
I
too,
was here for 2 other variances already, so, yeah,
On
yeah.
the same house.
On the same house, yeah. So this will be the 5th one.
The other elements of this, you know, for what it's worth, we've issued a couple of different things, and the home they are doing a nice looking job to the property, not saying that should be considered, but the property is being improved. I would assume that the neighbor could probably attest to that as well, so.
Yeah, there is a picture in the front of it finished, how it's gonna look. The deck's not quite done, but that's pretty much almost identical to when it was built in 1868. We're meticulously trying to make it look like it was original.
I'll make a motion to approve both the sidewalk and the extension of the garage.
Or just the addition.
Okay, all right, so we have a motion to approve as the entire
Presented.
item has been presented, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a second?
A second.
All right, so we have a motion to approve and a second. Do we have any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
On the pencil drawing cross-section that you've shown for the raising of the roof,
Correct.
you show the pitch to be 12 and 12.
12-12 pitch, yeah, that's correct.
But the picture of the house shows a roof that is less than 12 in 12.
Correct, that's, previous contractors had done this makeshift roof, over the stairwell in the back staircase.
No, I mean, the
But-
part of the front of the house has a roof that doesn't appear to be 12 by 12.
Oh, it is 12-12, the front of the house, though. It is 12-12.
Could you show that picture? Showing the addition.
Yeah,
the
that's
back?
the front of the
Back
house.
is where the addition is gonna be.
In the back?
Yeah.
So the back will look almost identical to the front with the roof lines.
Okay, so that roof right there, the second roof in, does not appear to be 12 in 12.
It may be because of the angle of the picture, but I could assure you that it is a 12-12. Well, only because we were doing the eaves and everything else on it, and the siding.
And what I can say to that is, this is an older, street view one, that I just grabbed just so we had an idea. The picture here, and I'm not sure, like you're saying, Dick, if it's less or not, but, this is what's, the picture is, that's what's there today.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's the case, but you're saying
maybe
that
it
that
isn't
is the
12 by
case,
12,
that it's
but they match.
12-12.
Correct.
Because I know Dick's an architect.
That's his intention, is he's gonna raise this up
Yeah.
to match that roof line.
Okay, so I just want to say, I hope, I insist that the two roofs have the same pitch.
Oh, they will definitely match perfectly in line.
Okay.
So with that being said, would you like to amend the motion to include that as a condition?
Yes, please.
And are you willing to?
Yeah, we can amend that.
Okay,
Okay, all right,
I'm fine with that, too. We're matching it exact, so.
okay.
perfect. All right, so we have the motion that has been amended to make sure everything matches and looks the same, and the second. Do we have any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Again.
Yep, you're all set.
And I believe it's gonna be my last trip up here for this, so.
We're not gonna hold you to that yet. We'll,
Okay.
We need to get yours yet.
Just saying that.
yeah,
This is his last rodeo, is that it?
we'll see. We'll see. We'll keep that open.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, next item, number 7. Variance application by Dennis Pentek to increase the sidewalk width located on the on the west side of the property with a 0 paving setback location at 502 Pennsylvania Avenue. All right, so we've already had some conversation about that.
So I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I second it.
All right, motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
All right, thanks for working with one another to make that happen.
Okay, thank you. Yep, thank you, gentlemen. Yeah, thank you. Item number 8, we have a variance application by Fidel Nahira. Did I say that right? Yes. Who poured concrete sidewalks and patios around the perimeter of the dwelling. The concrete at the west side is closer than 3 feet to the side property line, and the concrete on the east side crosses over the side property line located at 1612 Indiana Avenue. Sir, if you wouldn't mind stepping up to the podium, do we have anybody here? Okay, this gentleman here is with you.
my
Okay.
neighbor, like.
Yes.
Oh, okay, you're a neighbor,
Yes.
okay, all right, perfect.
And if you want, maybe I could explain a little bit in terms
Sure.
of what we're here. I think it was probably about maybe June, July, it was summer of 2022. And at that time, Mr. Nahara had submitted an application for this property. We didn't know where property lines were to make a decision, and the board said before we act on this, we'd like to know exactly where everything is. And so with that, Mr. Nahara did get a survey. Bear with me one second. So this again is the home on Indiana Avenue. And so there was an existing sidewalk here and nothing over here and nothing in front that was paved. And this was done in the back, that was okay. And then the yard's been cleaned up, and then afterwards, there was this is on the west side, that got installed, this got installed, and then in this area over here, it got installed. We didn't know at the time where the property lines were. And so the board at that point in time asked Mr. Nahara to go ahead and get a survey, which he did. I think
Right, that
is right here. And so from this, you can see that the sidewalk is very close to the property line on the west side. So this is, I believe, only about 2 feet wide, the front, and then it does show it going up to the home or the property line on this side. So, and then, in addition, the applicant also paved the other gentleman's property to the, east of him, which is very similar to what we were just talking about, but those guys had an easement to do the types of things and variance. So I guess at this point in time, the variance is here. I can see, the need for the sidewalk in between here. I'm not sure so much about the other side where there's just this 2-foot strip. So anyways, that's a little bit of the history, and I don't know if
Who's
they.
responsible to cut that grass, the other neighbor?
Actually, with that, yeah. So we just got that deal with the neighbor, with my neighbor for the west side. So we just cut the grass too. So we taking care of everything, even when there's not our property, but we did it, yeah.
Okay. But it's his responsibility.
Yes,
But you're trying to keep your property nice
yes.
and update it.
Are there plans to paint or do anything that's, a lot of chipping and different things going on there? What
no.
are the plans? Are you staying there? Are you working on behalf of the owner? What's the story to the property itself?
Okay, the property, basically, the property owner is my brother-in-law, so I just put some money, we bought invest in our properties. Well, the plan is just to be renting the house, but right now it's basically empty. We're not renting, we were trying to sell the house if in the future. But right now, we just only own the property just with plan to renting, just to rent the house.
Okay.
If I can just follow up, but are there plans to take care of the exterior of the house?
Yes.
Okay.
And that is what?
We're actually, yeah, that's what I said. We're just waiting just to concrete all this, because just to be honest, that was already plans to put the house and sell. And we don't want to just sell until we fix all the problems with the concrete and everything is going to be all right.
Okay.
Any questions?
There's not really much to do, they already did it.
Right.
So,
I mean, if I can put my 2 cents in.
Because it's supposed to have, you're supposed to have grass
A
in the
little,
front
bigger.
yard.
I mean, to me, for that area, I kind of like the concrete and the way things look in there, but that's just me, but.
Sure, and you can see the pictures, I mean, it is kind of a commercial area too.
Right.
This property is zoned commercial, even though it's a residential use. So could it be used in such a way? So there is quite a bit of stuff in the front yards already.
That it could.
Right, so,
Is he required to have a railing?
I think,
No, it's
I would have to ask, Jeff for that one. Jeff,
more than 4.
rail needed for the front steps or no?
Nope.
Thank you.
Has to be more than 3 steps.
Yeah.
More than
That's what
three.
he-
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do we hear a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. So we're good to go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Does he need a permit for this?
He needs the
Has to
permit
be
and the other
4
neighbor
steps or
needs
more.
a variance.
Oh.
Doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that's the other issue here is, the other, neighbor does have some pavement as well in that area, so that gentleman may have to apply for something as well in the
But he does have
future.
grass too.
Yeah,
See, he's got that little strip of
Right,
grass.
right.
So not necessarily.
yeah, so we can take a look at that a little closer.
All right, very good. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Reminder that next meeting is April 19th, 2023, same place, same time. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we hear a second? All right, motion to adjourn. We're
Yeah,
adjourned.
there you go. All right, thanks, everybody, appreciate it. All right.